Hello, I'm Dave.
I'm Carrie, and we are one adventure at a time. If this is your first time seeing us, welcome. Welcome to the channel, and thank you for tuning in. We're going to be talking about 10 things we have learned about van life in 5 years.
Yeah, but first we just want to give you a quick briefing on how we got started.
Yeah, so we were living in Northern California. We bought a house, the American dream. We bought a house, but we bought it at the height of the housing market. Yeah. And I jokingly say, as soon as we signed that mortgage paperwork, the housing market crashed. Yeah. And so we spent 13 years in this house, scrimping and saving and making some really hard decisions to finally sell it for $30,000 less than we paid for it.
Yeah.
But we walked away with $500 in our pocket.
I felt trapped too, because all we were doing was going to work and then coming home and doing yard work and then trying to save up enough money to keep the house in good shape. So if we had any extra money, it'd have to go right back into the house.
And we didn't have extra money. We were struggling to make the mortgage.
We were struggling.
Dave was working in an insulation plant. I say that was literally killing you. The hours were terrible. The conditions were not great.
It was not the most favorite job I've had.
You hated the job. Yeah.
But a couple years back, we took a trip to Moab, Utah. And we're driving around looking at the sights and taking some off-road trails with our Jeep. And I noticed that there were people that looked like they were living or camping on the public land, right on the BLM land. And I'm like, oh, I bet you these guys are camping here and they're probably working in town or something. And that really looked exciting to me, like something that we could do.
He's like, I want to do that. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We're not living off-grid. We're not boondocking. I grew up off-grid, and before off-grid was cool, we didn't have all these fancy gadgets. And so I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So fast forward 2 years after that, I'm working in a medical office. I'm seeing a lot of patients, one couple in particular who had the weight of the world on their shoulders. They saved their entire life for their golden years, and they were literally too sick to enjoy any of it.
That's what he complained about and said to Carrie, so that really struck home.
Yep, and I said, okay, Dave, well, let's do it.
Yeah, we were following the same path. We were just going to be the same way.
We'll give it 1 year, see if we like it. It'll be the best decision we've ever made, or it'll be the worst decision we've ever made.
The worst case scenario, we just stop in some town and get a job, start over. Not a big deal.
That was 6 years ago. So today marks the first 5 years from the first YouTube video that we put out.
Yep.
And you do not have to go back and watch those. In fact, we would prefer that you didn't.
I don't care.
We were in San Francisco. We were really nervous that we were not going to find any boondocking. It just so happened that there was a government shutdown at the time, and there was boondocking.
Everything was open.
Everything was open. Nobody was patrolling anything.
Yeah.
So we had a fabulous time in San Francisco, and that's how we started out. Yep. And we've just continued from there. Our niche is free camping across North America.
Yeah, although I like staying out of the big cities now.
That's true. Okay, so let's get right into it. And Dave doesn't even know what I put on the list yet.
I don't. I haven't read your list at all.
So 10 things that we have learned about van life in 5 years. Number 1, never, ever, ever travel without traction boards.
Yes. So we have been stuck over 30 times, and I'm not exaggerating. And we have used those traction boards to get out every single time without calling a tow truck. And
the first time you use them, they will pay for themselves if you buy the really expensive ones.
Yeah, you can buy any of them, actually. I mean, you don't have to buy the expensive ones.
We've used them on South Padre Island. We drove 19 miles down the beach. We thought we were golden. We parked, and wouldn't you know, we were stuck.
Yeah, and not only to get us out, we've used them several times to get other people out as well. So it's just a must-have. We like the full-length traction boards that are solid, not the kind that fold up, so they give the tire more support.
Yeah, we used them in Idaho when we got snowed in.
Yeah, they make for a good shovel too.
We used them to shovel. Yeah. We used them in Pennsylvania when we got a little too close to the edge and it was muddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would not travel without traction boards. Hands down.
Yep.
Especially if you're in a front-wheel drive heavy vehicle like we are in the ProMaster.
Yeah, just any vehicle. I mean, there's going to come a time if you're on the road long enough where you're going to want to have them.
They are worth their weight in gold.
Yep.
Number 2, know your vehicle. And what I mean by that is, how much do you weigh? Remember when we went across the Washington Bridge in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, there's weight limits on a lot of bridges, and you don't want to be over that weight limit.
We didn't know it at the time, but we were over the weight limit on that bridge.
Yeah, we were over the width limit too. So
know how wide you are, know how tall you are,
yeah,
and know how much you weigh.
It's good to know how heavy the vehicle is, especially if you're going to be towing anything. Like, we cannot tow anything with our van because we're at the max limit. But it's just, and it's easy to find out too. You can go to any certified scales like the truckers do, and drive right up on there and get the whole thing weighed and even have it documented.
Yes. Know how tall you are.
Know how tall you are.
Any kind of buildings or gas stations, you want to know what your max height is.
Yeah.
When we went into Canada last time, the border agent wanted to do a search of the van, and she said, go into Bay 8. And I said, excuse me, ma'am, I don't think we'll fit in Bay 8.
Yeah, I said that because I noticed, like, no, we're not going to fit in there.
And we did not fit in Bay 8, so she moved us to a different spot. So know your vehicle. Now, a lot of times if you have to have work done, you also need to know how heavy you are, because a lot of the lifts cannot lift a certain amount of weight.
Yeah.
And we have come across that many times.
Either they can't lift you or their doors aren't high enough to get in.
True.
And you kind of have to take responsibility for that, because sometimes they'll just wave you right in and you'd be like,
they're not paying attention.
Yeah, so that's something good to know.
Yes. Know your tire pressure, or at least have a general idea of your tire pressure.
Yeah, and nowadays most of the time if you open your side door, it's printed on there, so it's easy to figure out. But before, you used to have to kind of look in the owner's manual or whatever. But
we've been to a tire shop a handful of times. They get the tire pressure wrong.
Yeah, and that's because we have a different air tire pressure in the back than we do the front. And I guess that's unusual, so anybody that's not used to the ProMaster usually gets it wrong.
Yes.
So we have an air compressor, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Speaking of tires, just tell everybody what your favorite tire is. It has done us good.
The Falcon Wild Peak AT3. It's an all-terrain tire. It's probably, it used to be like mid-range cost. It's probably a little bit towards the higher end cost now. I noticed the price has been going up, but we get great miles out of them. They have superior traction, especially in the snow. So we really like them.
They go up really rocky roads like we just did the other day that we shouldn't have been on.
Yeah. Yeah, they're 10 ply, so that really helps. The sidewalls are nice and thick.
We tell everybody we know, try the Falcon Wild Peaks, and nobody has been disappointed that has tried them. Okay, so van life can be hard. You have decision fatigue, you're driving, you have to have a plan A, B, and C. So have some creature comforts. Some of the creature comforts we have are as a composting toilet.
Yeah, that's a must.
Now, I'm not saying go out and buy the Nature's Head for $1,000, because we did that. And I would say that money would be better used in our next creature comfort. But some kind of toilet on board, whatever it may be, allows you to stay places that you wouldn't be able to stay.
Yeah.
If we were to give an example of that, we stayed in Idaho in -7 degrees Fahrenheit. The last thing you want to do is go outside and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, especially in the middle of the night.
We went to Newfoundland this year, and we went early, and there is snow and ice everywhere. Without that composting toilet, we would not be able to do that.
Yeah.
All of the campgrounds and everything were closed.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed to be self-sufficient. In the desert like we are right now, there's not much privacy.
Yeah, there's pretty much none. So you'd have to have a little tent or something, but you need to take care of the problem.
Yeah. Okay, our second creature comfort is have a heater on board. Now, we love the Webasto heater. I'm going to say, do your research, find out which model will be best for you, because some go elevation-wise.
Yeah, and you don't have to get Webasto. Get whatever kind of heater that you can afford. And you have to think about like where you're going to be traveling and how cold it's going to get. So if you're going to be in the coldest weather, I would go with a dry air heater like the Webasto or one of the similar models, because it tends to work the best.
We started with a little buddy heater. We went to the Olympian Wave 6 heater, and I'm sorry, hands down, I say the Webasto heater. It's a dry air heater. We've run it thousands of hours. How many hours have I run that heater?
Yeah, it gets a workout. Yeah. It does have to be maintained just like most things, but it's so worth it. We love it.
It is a night and day difference for me for van life.
Yeah.
Because you don't think it gets cold in the desert, but it does.
Yep.
Bug screens.
Yeah, bug screens. So we've got one on the slider door in the front, and we've got one in the back. So we're able to open the two doors, and the wind just kind of funnels through it on those warmer days and keeps you cooler. Without that, we'd have to be all shut up, and it'd be hot.
So we don't have air conditioning other than the dash AC. So whatever temperature it is outside is the temperature it's going to be inside. Or it's going to be warmer if you're in the sun.
Yeah.
So to have that airflow is huge. Plus you get the Instagram van life shots when you have the back doors open and you're facing the
It's just nice to be able to have
ocean.
the doors open, especially on the warm days.
One other thing I wanted to talk about bug screens. We do almost all of our cooking in the van, and if you were to do that outside, you're going to be harassed by bees and flies, and Rudel and I hate flies. So bug screens are a must for us.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can start without them and see how it goes, but you're probably going to end up wanting them.
Definitely. So this is going to be a controversial topic, but Dave and I both feel the same way about this. After 5 years in the van, we're going to say you don't need a shower in your van.
Yeah. After 5 years, yeah. I still would not put one in the van. It's just,
Okay. Now, I'm going to say if you're living in Florida and it's 90 degrees with 90% humidity, I'm going to say, okay, maybe you need a shower.
Yeah, well, if you're going to have access to water all the time, you probably could do the shower. It's just that, do you want it to take up that space?
Yeah.
So,
If you're not in a campground all the time, you have to carry that water around. That's a lot of water. You have to store the water. You have to take up a huge amount of space. To us, it is not worth it. We get our showers at either Planet Fitness, state parks, truck stops, aquatic centers,
RV parks.
RV parks.
RV parks are the easiest because they're everywhere, and they usually only charge $5 a shower.
The van shuffle. You love the van shuffle.
I hate the van. I hate having too much stuff in the van. So this is a never-ending problem. It's if we buy anything, like something has to go. So that's good because we don't buy a lot of stuff. But I just don't like to take stuff from the seat to the couch, to the bed, just to do stuff constantly.
And then when you go to bed, it goes back from the bed to the couch to the
and
seat.
it seems like we're always in that mode. So it's going to be a constant thing where you're getting rid of stuff that you don't need and trying to use every inch of space that you have for the stuff that you do need. So it's better at sometimes for us than others, but it seems like lately it's been bad.
I know it has been, and we've gotten rid of more stuff than we had when we started.
Yeah.
Why is it so bad?
I don't know. We just need to make better room, use of the room that we have.
Either yourself or if you're traveling with a partner, one of you has to be a master at Tetris.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, we've got some hobbies now that we're on the road, and that takes up a lot of room, and
yeah.
It's just, we have a lot of camera gear, that kind of thing, and then the dog and everything Rudel related is a room.
Takes up a fair amount of room.
So if you're by yourself in a van, you're probably not going to have those issues.
Not as much, at least. Yeah. Okay. You will become a waste management engineer living in the van.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we're driving around, what is the first thing we're looking for?
We don't even look for it. They just pop out at us now. So if we're driving around and we see like a public dumpster or trash can, we'll see it from a mile away. I mean, we're like, wow, look, so to getting rid of your trash has actually gotten tougher over the last 5 years because a lot of places that used to have trash cans out don't have trash cans anymore.
They're being abused.
Yeah, because they're being abused.
Yeah.
But like if we buy something at a store, we'll take all the packaging off right there at that store And then if they have trash cans, we'll put it in their trash cans. So
Yes. And then when we're out boondocking, we compact all of our trash.
And we keep everything in small bags. That way, if our only choice is the gas station, we'll put a couple of small bags in their trash and not overload it. Maybe we'll do 2 gas stations or whatever, but we're not going to put a massive amount of trash in one trash can.
If we buy sodas or beer or something like that, we try to buy cans because we can crush them and they can go in their recycle bin.
Yep.
If we do buy large items, we'll buy like a 2-liter of soda because you can cut the top of that off and stuff that full of trash.
Yeah, and if we buy like paper products or whatever and we're going to do a fire and there's no fire restrictions or wind, we'll try to burn some of the paper products.
Yeah. Okay, so this next topic I'm going to say, well, I'm just going to say it. Forget the power stations. Don't get the Blue Yeti. Don't get the Gold Zero. Get a true electrical system. And first of all, I have to say, we started out with a power station.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to disagree with you on this one because I think if you don't know anything about electrical work and you cannot afford to hire an electrician and you don't want to dive in and do it yourself, if you're by yourself, you might be able to do a power station just fine. It's just if you have the money, it's simpler, it's easier. So I'm not going to say not to do it. I will say that we like our upgrade a lot better than our old power station.
Okay, so I agree with you on that, but we spent $2,300 on our Gold Zero 1400 Yeti.
Yeah.
And we used it for 3 years, and it did get us on the road, and it did its job. But we were conserving energy so much.
Yeah, we couldn't even run the
fans at night.
Fantastic fan on the ceiling. We couldn't run it overnight. It was just pretty much keeping our refrigerator going.
The battery bank we could have had with that same amount of money would have more than doubled the power we had. Yeah,
but there's a lot of people out there that don't want to dive in and do their own electrical work, and that may have the money just to buy their power station. So I'm not going to rule it out, but it worked for us to start, but we are happier now than we were.
I'm going to say if you have the money and you are willing to do it, you're going to get a better bang for your buck if you do an electrical system.
Yeah, even a small electrical system.
We still have a small electrical system.
Yeah, you could pay somebody to do a small electrical system, maybe for the same price as one of those expensive power stations.
And I will agree, if you have to pay somebody to do it, it does get very expensive.
Yeah.
So if it comes down between you going on the road or not going on the road,
do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do. But let me tell you, such a huge difference if you can do your own.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I did have to study for like 3 weeks and then have help from an electrician. Thank you, Glenn, if you're watching, because I didn't know anything. I did wire the van initially, but boy, it was not the best job.
I know, but you learned.
Yeah.
You learned.
Yeah.
And if you put enough time and effort into it, I think you can learn.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that will help you.
Yeah. Yep.
So, okay, so this one's a little fun. I'm going to say, embrace the laundromat.
Yeah, yeah. We kind of laugh and joke and say that we should have wrote a book on our experiences at the laundromat. I mean, we still probably could, because we've had so many great or just odd experiences there that if you meet us in person, we'll tell you about it because we got stories for hours.
It has nothing to do with laundry. It's the people that we meet at the laundromat. Kind people. One Christmas time in Flagstaff's, a person invited us over to their bus and made us the most incredible dinner.
Yeah, it was like right after Christmas or something. It was just really special.
And we were a little sad. We didn't have any family to be with. We didn't plan anything special for Christmas. And this couple just really made our day.
Yeah, they invited us over. They just took us right in and just made something real special.
We pulled into a laundromat in Vermont and they said, hello, it's free laundry day.
Yeah, she handed me a cup full of quarters as I walked in with the laundry bags, and I was like, free laundry day, what is that? And I guess they do it every once in a while, but just crazy.
We've also met chefs who invited us to their house and cooked for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on and on about laundry. Laundry is not the most fun chore.
No, but if you go in with the idea that, you know, this could be, you could learn something or meet new people or just have a good time, you start looking forward to it after a while.
Yeah. And that leads us into our final thing, is be open to meet people.
Yeah. Yeah, so we finally had time to not rush off everywhere we go. So when people start talking to us, you know, we actually listen and communicate back. And then that just led to meeting a whole bunch of different people that normally I don't think we would have.
When we first got on the road, we kept to ourselves. We didn't go out and meet people. And about 6 months in, we decided maybe we should start talking to people. And since then, meeting people has been one of the best parts of our journey. Agree?
Yeah, it has been. We could tell you stories, and so we'll kind of probably save them if we meet you in person, which I hope we do, because we've got some good ones.
Yeah, and I'm going to share some pictures of some people that we've met along the way. This is just a drop in the bucket. I'm sorry if I didn't get a picture with you, but we love meeting you on the road. And we thought the destination was going to be the best part of our journey, and the destinations are awesome, but without meeting the people, it wouldn't quite be the same.
Yeah, and that's my favorite stories to tell, is the people that we met and something about them.
Okay, so that's what we have learned in 5 years of van life.
Yeah, tell us if you've been on the road, tell us what you've learned.
Okay, I think that's it. Do you have any final words?
I don't. Get out there, have fun, and we hope to meet you on the road.
Enjoy the beauty around you. If you see us on the road, wave and say hi, and safe travels. And thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.